Hello and welcome to Wise Exotics. I'm your host Trevor, and today we'll be doing the start of the video log series for October of 2024. For those of you new to my channel, welcome. To those of you returning, hope you had a good start to October. Just quick word of warning, I do have a lot of birds in this room, so they may make noise, bangs, clangs, whistles, bells. I can't really do anything to stop that. They're birds, they do bird things. So if there's any point in the video where it's hard to hear me or you couldn't understand what I said, please feel free to post in the comments and click the timestamp point so I can answer and try to clarify that. Thank you. Now, to start, we'll start off with the bad news. Navarro, Cat0066 and J1, which is one of two I had, both did perish, sadly. Now, throughout my attempts to grow these plants, I have more problems with hybrids and even that lowland species, but I've had more success in figuring out the acclimation for lowland species to highland conditions. It just takes a long time and it's very painful to watch. That being said, majority of time I have hybrids that for whatever reason they'll be in the middle of other hybrids within this setup and they'll just one will just die. It'll start to deteriorate, it'll start to not do well, and it just drops and dies. These will be highland hybrids, lowland hybrids, it doesn't matter, they're just a hybrid. So I'm not sure if it's a disposition from hybrids having a better range from low to high, but they can't adjust to quick acclimation, possibly, is my hypothesis. But it's just something that happens. Now, I know other people have had this occur with pure species and whatnot. I've actually had really good luck with pure species, even in some crazy conditions. So one point of news is all last week, the beginning of October, was 90 degrees Fahrenheit for me. It started at 70 in the morning and it went to 90 and then kind of sat there the whole day and then dropped to 80. So I have not had night drops for about a week. My plants are still doing okay, even the highland ones. As long as I was able to keep them moist and at least get a 10-degree drop from 90 down to 80, they seem to at least tolerate it. Thankfully, as you can see per the humidifier, it's 66 here. We're back to normal temperature ranges again going in. I've been told this is called having an Indian summer by some people, but basically what occurs is where I live, we'll sometimes for whatever reason just get a crazy hot day or a crazy hot week. And it doesn't happen all the time. It's not like every year. It's like sometimes every 4 to 5 years, sometimes 10. It's really weird. Anywho, plants are all doing fine. I might be doing a trade with a friend. I do have some spooky sales up. I do have the Glandulifera X Edwardsiana available, which it is a fairly large plant. It's the one right next to this one. Of course, the leaf is covering it. Beyond that, the plants are doing fine. I ended up burning through almost all my water trying to keep the humidifier and the trays at least semi-filled to a point. Let's see. I did get one new plant in from my friend Jacob. He shipped that over to me. It's a little Vichia. It was one I was trying to find. I was going to do a trade with a friend, but the one he had died. So I went, dang it. I was lucky that Jacob had one on hand to sell to me. It is a Vichii, no, I have to think about it, K crossed with pink candy cane. Now, for those of you who are Vichii connoisseurs or enjoyers, I learned something interesting from Drew. So, pink candy cane is actually an H, whereas Vichii come in the orders from Exotica Plant as K, M, and the like. There was one prior, and it hasn't been sold in like 5 or 6 years, to my understanding, which was the H, which some people called the Hobo Vichii, because they weren't very colorful or pretty. A lot of the more red and striped ones are only been recent in the more like commonplace markets. In the last couple of years, I've actually been really happy I was able to get a bunch. Sorry about that. Let's see. I got another ping. So there's that. It starts with an L. It has a little red flower. I stuck it in with Taffy's box. It actually seems to be growing quite well that I can see from here. I'll get into that. Trying to think. The Westuba order from Germany did come into the States. My friend Black Thumb Plants, so I did the order with. Did an unboxing, so I got to see my plants. They looked phenomenal. In my order was an epiphytiata, which is a cousin to lowii. I was really curious because now that I have a lowii, I can compare it to that. I also had Diabolica AW1, which was really weird for me. All the Diabolica, to my understanding, except for number 4, are males. So my goal is to breed 1 and 4 someday in the future and create some strong progeny that are cheaper and readily available for everybody so everyone can enjoy Diabolica. And I kind of want to dispel that notion that they're such a hard plant to take care of. That's my personal goal future-wise. That being said, the weird part about AW1 is I couldn't find any photos of it via Andreas or just in the world. I did multiple searches, search engines, social media searches, you name it. I can find every other clone but one. The most prevalent clones, which are the hardiest, are 7 and 14, by the way. 5 is next to that, and then comes 4. Now, 3 is also interesting, but it's a little more temperamental, as is 2, but I could find photos of all of the other clones, basically from 2 to 14. I could find pictures, photos of mature specimens. I could not find one of clone 1. It was very annoying. So I'm hoping to document clone 1 to get photos of it so people at least have a reference of what it looks like when they're placing their order with Stube in the future. The other plant I got, which I was very surprised by the size, was a Nepenthes mollusk. Now, typically in the United States, mollusk goes for $200 for a itty bitty, seedling. This one was $80, and it's bigger than my hand, and the traps looked like that big to me. I was like, whoa, okay, so I'm getting a head start on the mollusk game there. So that'll be really interesting to grow and develop. I've got to figure where I'm going to put it. I do have a cabinet system I'm developing in another room. As a cabinet my sister was getting rid of, so I said, hey, can I have that? I know people have been able to do grow plants in cabinets. I might as well shift some out of here that are the hybrids that are hardier and see if I can grow them in a cabinet. So some of these plants might go to the cabinet. I'm planning to keep more pure species in here is my hope, and the like. Now, some of you have been probably wondering, what is the weird bag with the owl drawing on it? Well, that is from my friend Lush. He actually was growing a bunch of different types of moss. I divided some of that moss in here. A few of you said that I needed more moss. And, clearly my collection requires the moss to look pretty and thriving, so I got more moss from Lush. So there, I did it. And we can all just enjoy and bask in the glory of his hand-drawn art of the owl. Now, my hope is to use what's left, and even if needed, I'll take some of the other live moss from some of my pots and add those to the AW order. They're just 3 plants, and 2 of them are small. Mind you, the mollusk is a lot bigger than I expected, so there's that. I did get a KX Pink Candy cane from my friend Jacob. I had to think about what it was called. Now, interesting thing about pink candy cane I learned from Drew is that specific specimen is what is called an HVGI. We've discussed K and M, but an even rarer one that some people called the hobo VGI or the H. They didn't really stand out. They weren't very crazy looking, but it was one of the original Grexes that were available on the market, similar to the brown peristome one that's in the UK. That was just really prevalent. It wasn't very amazing, but it was a VGI that they could breed out and was very popular for breeding quite a few years ago. It seems like everybody shifted in doing more red and colors, and I know I'm drooling at that one right there too. Don't worry. I can see pink candy cane, and it looks like we're in a treat that K3 even opened. So that's really neat. So my friend Jacob, as the story is going to go, had a KX Pink Candy Cane for sale he offered to me, and so I bought that. I was actually going to get another one from another friend, but sadly theirs kind of fried. So I was glad to at least be able to get one. I've been having a problem trying to find that Grex. I do have one other plant coming from Carnivero, which per the live auction, they had a grower's choice tray. I mean, Drew brought out a tray like that with all sorts of pretty big VGI. He called them medium size for them, which is about the size of that variegated red one. And $35 out the door. Grower's choice was stripes, all of them. There were 2 or 3 that didn't have stripes, which people again call the hobo ones. But majority of them were striped and flared. They looked really neat. Some of them were yellow and pink and red already. So, fingers crossed I get a fun one. But my hope was when I ordered that, I then sent them a message saying, hey, can you please send me the tag for pink candy that was supposed to be sent in the summer? I still have not received that. So hopefully we'll get a tag for pink candy officially from Carnivoro, not my cheap little one or my other little printed one that's just too tiny to see. Now, speaking of that, let's go down to the thing. First off, I want to bring to light, this is one from my friend Andrew, or AZ Nepenthes. This is Akazukin X Barrio Striped. It's a Japanese grower. Barrio Striped X Akazukin. I can't tell if that's just incorrectly written or what, so I have not messed with it. KXK is doing really good too. I know I'm a VGI addict at this point because I have way more VGI than anything else in my collection, but I enjoy them. I really have a lot of fun growing the VGI. But I do have hybrids and whatnot. Speaking of which, I do have a spooky sale going on, so any of those hybrids that I was thinking of getting rid of are on discount. So if anybody wants them, please feel free to hit me up on Instagram. I've got a lot of glandulifera hybrids I was trying to sell. I'm going to be trading this one to a friend for some VGI, which is Glandulifera X Trismatiensis. So that one is going to be gone, but I do have this one, which is Glandulifera X Edwardsiana. Toothy and great. It darkens to almost a pure purple on its other one, but it does get stripes. A lot of fun. This is another one I was thinking of selling, which it got some huge jumps in here. This is Spectabilis Boschiana crossed with Platykyla. This one's traps look almost like Boschiana, but they get the yellow-red striping. It's really interesting. Now let's get into this, shall we? Pink Candy Cane is developing its first trap. Yay, it's also got another, don't know why that fell down. Another leaf in the development. Some of that moss from Lush, that luscious moss, my Rosia Edwardsiana seemed to have a bit of root rot, so I had repotted in this Echinoma media that I so enjoy, and I treated it, and it seems to be coming back from September's little treatment method. Naga seems perfectly happy out here. Did have a stressed leaf, but that's probably because of the heat waves. I mean, I was in the 90s here, and I was trying my best. The new VGI A had this beautiful trap. I really like that it's this yellow with stripes. The little VGI is also developing a nice jump or two there. It was kind of pink. VGI B actually getting a red stripe on that leaf and developing a new trap down there. Interesting. VGI K. Now this is one from Mike Fallon that is actually a prevalent breeder. She's getting a little pink already. Ooh, that's interesting. And some nice stripes. The K's are more stout, kind of like Taffy way down there. Taffy and its sibling just kind of always competing. I swear these two have a rivalry going on. Let's see. Oh, I was really excited to see this one. Minima X Candy Dreams. That one is going to be crazy. I did sell its sibling to a friend, and it is doing quite well. It actually is getting the beautiful speckling in the leaves you can see here, these little black spots. Taffy is also starting to get that just a bit on its new leaf. Actually, its new leaf just opened, so yeah, it's getting a little more. I was so mad because I thought it had a flower spike, but it faked us all out. Dang it. I was so like, ooh, Taffy's gonna have a flower. But look at that new trap Taffy's making. It's turning pink. Maybe it'll get redder. Now that dual leaf one finally did open. I'm calling it Double Delight because of the dual leaf. But look at that trap. It looks very similar, if not an improved version of its first trap with me, which is just phenomenal. I love the coloring. But let's not lie, a lot of us are going to be staring at this one. Pure red striped VGI. This is the VGI I've come to call Crimson Candy. It is red. I love these spots that are just like streaked down it. The white light kind of washes it out from my phone, but it is scarlet red in here. If I get further away, you actually get a more realistic coloring, which is funny. Now, the Clipiata I got from my friend Desert West Carnivores is doing good. My other clips are just doing perfectly fine. This one is actually developing a trap, and this one, for some reason, likes to sit on its friend here. This one is actually resting in a Clipiata. The irony here. Peltata is doing fine. Didn't make a trap. That new hybrid, that live exclusive, which I've only seen 2 of now. One friend actually has this. A lot of jumps since I brought it out of the tank setup. But yeah. Oh, Vada actually is already developing its first leaf with me too. So I mean, all the plants are doing fine. Here's the cephalotus for those of you who always are wondering where I'm hiding it. Lingulata. I might be selling the Lingulata. I don't have as much fun with it as I thought. I thought it would be more impressive as it developed, but it's just been a little stressed because of the heat also. Berbigier seems to be producing leaves. Hasn't made traps yet, but it's very slow. I know my friends who have some said that they're just starting to put their leaves out, so their traps down. So we'll see how that develops. Vicii 3734, which is number 22 specimen from Carnivero. Yeah, all doing really well. Sadly, we had the order canceled on, that's not the one I was thinking, this one, which is the LVB X Vicii Barrio. So if anybody wants it, it is now available again. Let's see. Well, I love that little red trap. That's this red variegated one. It's got like nano green stripes up and down. This one is Redleaf Exotics 30, which I don't know why it's being so mean to the I thought that was Diotis. No, what is that? Purple Haze. Really? Why are we all picking on Purple Haze? I've got to move it again. Okay, so things I learned while I'm in here. Again, we'll see the beautiful Lush artwork of Owl. I really need to find like a little green owl to just hide in here, and I'll just move it around, so that'll be a new game. That is one of the other ones available. Currently, that is Glandulifera X Ime individual seedling clone. Now, there's a whole concept to that thing. I do not want to get into it because there is too many variants and complexities. There's clones from seed, there's seeds grown in tissue culture, there's a lot of naming conventions, and some people use it one way and some use it another. But that one, per Andreas Vestubu, is an individual seedling clone, which supposedly is a unique specimen. Now, that being said, all those plants are doing quite well. So let's go over to the tank, shall we? Tank plants are doing phenomenal. Those 2 Anthuriums are kind of chugging along. Don't seem ticked at all. Sumatrana seems happy, if anything. Palonensis has another one of those nice little red eggs hiding down there. All the various Vicii are doing fine. The seedling from Desert West Carnivores is doing well, which should be Bellii crossed with Suratensis. I want to see how that develops. It's been doing fine in my conditions. Let's see, one of those weird sundews. It's a sundew which has like this type of shape. It looks like a U shape that comes off. I do not know the species offhand. So, yeah. Let's see. I did move the 2 KX Candy Stripe X Candy over to the downstairs. And I think a cat just dropped something in the other room and broke it. So I will have to possibly end the video in a sec to go do that. Clean that up. All the other plants seem to have weathered through the 90+ degree weather fine. And again, this wasn't for like a day. This went on for an entire week. So all of them are doing well. Diabolica, Edwardsiana, Velosa, Macrophylos all seem to have weathered through everybody. So next time, I'll chat with you all later. Trevor out.